Curly, Wurly and the Jurassic Coast. It was the festive season in Barracuda Bay. Mr. Ray, the harbour master, was celebrating Christmas with his family. On Christmas Day, he invited Mrs. Crabley and Mr. Lobster, the lighthouse keeper, round for Christmas dinner. Mrs. Ray had pulled out all the stops this year. It was the biggest Christmas dinner ever. Just look at the size of that turkey. After finishing their enormous dinner and a few Christmas puddings later, Mrs. Ray had a surprise for Mr. Ray and their two children, Riley and Rachel. She handed Mr. Ray an envelope. "Happy Christmas," she smiled. "What is it?" asked Mr. Ray curiously. "Why don't you open it and find out?" said Riley. Mr. Ray opened the envelope. Inside was a photo and a letter from his cousin Sheldon. "Wow," he said. "We've all been invited to stay with Sheldon in his holiday home in Dorset, England. Looks like we're all going on holiday. Woohoo!" Mr. Ray was excited. Not only was he going to see his cousin for the first time in many years, but he was also going to get the chance to visit the Jurassic Coast and go fossil hunting. His face lit up. Mr. Ray loved exploring, and this was going to be the ideal opportunity to do a lot of it. A few weeks later, Mr. Ray and his family were all set for their holiday. Curly and Wurly were going to fly them to England. At the airport, Mr. Ray spoke to the planes before they set off. "This is going to be a fun adventure," he said. "There's going to be so much I want to show you," he smiled. Curly and Wurly were very excited too. Flying along the English Channel coastline, Mr. Ray told everyone the story of the Jurassic Coast. "We are flying over a World Heritage Site," he said. "It stretches for about 96 miles from Exmouth in Devon at one end to Studland Bay in Dorset at the other. The Jurassic Coast spans 185 million years of geological history. Erosion from the sea has exposed spectacular rock formations, including the Arch at Lulworth Cove. Across Earth's history, this area of England has been a desert, a shallow tropical sea, and a marsh. Fossil remains of the creatures that lived here have been preserved in the rocks. Fossils of animals living at the time of the dinosaurs, such as the plesiosaurs, ichthyosaurs, and pterosaurs, have all been discovered here too. It really is a spectacular place to explore." Riley and Rachel wanted to go fossil hunting. "You'll have to wait," chuckled Mr. Ray. "Let's go and meet cousin Sheldon first." They landed safely, close to Sheldon's holiday home. The views from the top of the cliffs were incredible. Curly and Wurly could see for miles. "If we fly towards the horizon," he said, "we'll end up in France," laughed Wurly. Sheldon was really happy to see Mr. Ray again. He gave Mrs. Ray and the children a big hug too. Then he bought them all fish and chips for tea. Delicious. That night, as Mr. and Mrs. Ray and Sheldon were reunited, Riley and Rachel sat under the stars with Curly and Wurly. Riley saw a shooting star flash across the night sky. "Quick, Riley," said Rachel, "make a wish." Riley closed his eyes and made his wish. "What did you wish for?" asked Curly. "Aha! I can't tell you that, as it might not come true," replied Riley. The next morning, Sheldon took everyone down to the beach. "This is the beach I walk along every day," he said. "It goes on for miles and miles. Lots of places to explore and go fossil hunting." Everyone started hunting for fossils. Mr. Ray had brought along his chisels to chip away at the rocks. Even Mrs. Ray joined in. Together, they searched the whole length of the beach for fossils. This was extreme fossil hunting, but it was totally worth all the effort because Mr. Ray uncovered 5 new fossils amongst the rocks. Mrs. Ray found one too. Whilst their parents were finding fossils, Rachel and Riley decided to run into the sea. Now that looked like a lot of fun. Ha! During their stay in England, Mr. and Mrs. Ray found a total of 20 fossils. They handed them all in to the Fossil Museum in Charmouth, where they were put on display. Mr. and Mrs. Ray's extraordinary fossil finding skills even made the front page of the local newspaper. Everyone had a fantastic holiday exploring the Jurassic Coast. But what about Riley's wish? Well, he wished for Mr. Ray to find some fossils to make the holiday spectacular. Finding 20 fossils? Now even Riley believes wishes do come true. And that's the end of the story. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next time.